Hey, all my dudes! We are going to do some more Spelljammer artwork today. Give me a hot second for me to check my signal and drop word across the net real quick. Hold on. I'm going to get into this here with you guys here in a moment equals. Moment equals. Alright, that sounds pretty good. Cool. Okay, great. Hey, if you follow me on Twitter, I've just posted that I'm live on Twitter. So if you want to find out when I'm live on Twitter in the future, you can follow me at Theurgy. I also got what else I got going on? Hey, you can. My name is Theurgy. I create PDF documents for 5e games. Currently, I publish on DMsGuild. We're working on a Spelljammer supplement here that is what's the words I'm trying to use here, Kearney? Words equal yeah, we're building a 100 and looks like around 120 pages worth of Spelljammer mechanics, random system generator, and a guide to use all these mechanics with Lattice Araxis. So if you bought the Spelljammer box set and you want to have a little bit more combat in your space and a lot more exploration, then check it out when it publishes. Related, all the books that I publish, there's a link down in the description to the DMsGuild. It's got a slew of the work that I've already produced. You can read anything that I make cover to cover. Check it all out. All the illustrations, there's like 120 illustrations across all those books that I produced. That we'll be doing the same, not that many, hopefully, but we'll be making artwork for the Spelljammer book just like this. We made this cover like around episode 20 something, and so you can go check that out. Yeah, so we'll do all the artwork here. Our edits are done. I'm just doing some post-edit review of the adventure itself. Otherwise, we're going to be good to go to drop this thing into page layouts next week. I think I'll probably spend some time on Monday doing that. But today we're going to build jellyfish. This is the aesthetic from the Lattice Araxis adventure. And in Boo's Menagerie, there's a thing called the Reigar, R-E-I-G-A-R, that are combat fae. They like to go into space and find the biggest bad and then beat it as an expression of art. Good, bad, they're just guys with guns. So this is the aesthetic, which is a sentient jellyfish Spelljammer ship that they can somehow create that no one else, I guess, can. And they run around and they chase down ships, disable them, and then butcher their crew, unless, you know, that crew's better than a 30,000-year-old warrior. I don't know. They're cool. I'm hip with it. I am way more hip with the Theurgy Death Squad that's in the earlier portion of the adventure when you're going through the. Sorry, I've been editing the document here, and I've been looking over like my tactical notes and like suggestions that I would make about like if you're going to use this combat system like to fight the Ibn Snare. In the early portion of the adventure, as a punishment for taking salvage off of a fallen. Excuse me, and forgiven. At some point, you find a derelict in an asteroid field. Adventure says, "Go check out the derelict." You do. You get some loot when you come off of the. Derelict back onto your ship to take off. You get ambushed by pirates, and then you have to basically fight your way until you get out of the asteroid belt. At which point, Rock of Brawl Patrol catch sight of you and lend aid, and you can then choose to either go home and lick your wounds, or the way that we have it built. The way it's designed is that the Even Snare gets chased off. by space cops. So if you're running as written, you only have to survive the fight long enough for the cops to show up, and then you're safe and you can bug out. The way that we rebuild it with the squadron mechanics that we're introducing is that once the cops show up, you can turn around and help them chase down the pirate ship and either steal it from the pirates or destroy it if you want to. But it's an opportunity for your team to severely upgrade your ship if you don't mind people shooting first and asking questions later. But it's just a fun challenge. We built the asteroid field, which you've seen some mapping for already. I've got an itchy nose, excuse me. And I'm Flemmy. Where's my coffee? And I need to set a timer. Or my gob. I'm just diving into this mess today. Hey, I'm going to set a 20-minute timer here to get us up and running, but I think more than anything right now, my body wants coffee. You know, I was free of addiction to caffeine for all of 5 days when I left town last in December. And I came back with absolutely no caffeine habit, and it only took 5 days for me to be like, oh, sleepy time, let's drink some coffee, and I've been hooked ever since. Caffeine is just a hell of a drug. We got 20 minutes on our timer. We got about 40 minutes available to us this morning. 100. We got 100 minutes on the block. I'm going to chop it up into 20-minute blocks. I'm going to keep at this, but I think honestly what I'm most excited about right now, I really kind of want to do an expansion. I've already expanded the Night Spider challenge in Light as Araxis quite a bit. I mean, added considerable amount of substance. You can go back into the asteroid field with the cops, chase down the ship, loot it, take all its fighter. It's going to be hard for you to capture fighter craft because they can just yeet out between different. What's the word I'm looking for? Asteroids. The clusters of asteroids. They can just slip through them. So it's really difficult to actually catch one of the fighter craft, unless of course you shoot it out of the sky and then fix it, kill all the crew that's aboard. But assuming that you do that, that gives you some kick-ass little fighter craft that you can flit around on and shoot people with. And if you know what, I'm just not liking this. How am I gonna, for reals? How am I gonna resolve you? Oh, come on, Curdy. There we go. How are we going to resolve you? We do. Trying to find. The curvature is assumed here, but it's not actually defined. So I need to take a moment here and figure out how does this thing actually. I need to build up a little mesh here to see how the thing actually sits. I think it might sit something like this. Gridley. So it's supposed to be, that's roughly my mesh. So let's do that in reverse. So we're going to drop the opacity here. We're problem solving, folks. Stick with me. Das not. do that. And then we can do that. And this, and then that, and then we can like this. Yeah, that feels about right. So let's up the intensity on that. Increasing the strength of the smudge tool that I'm currently using. Be able to push these pixels around a little more easily. Yeah, we're going to do some layouts this weekend. That is going to happen. Everything about the book is done except for cleanup language on the Lattice Araxis adventure conversion. And by cleanup language, like I got to go through all the statistics just to make sure that everything is still solid. There's very minimal errata that changes the adventure, so that's already resolved. Now I just got to go through and make sure all the math lines up on all the ships and all the creatures that are in there, and that is honestly obnoxious as hell, and it's not inspiring me right now. So it also doesn't start until page 86 of the 117 page document that we already have, which doesn't even take into account images and layout. Really, I mean, well, I'll give that. I'll hand that back. It's I at least break up the text into paragraphs and stuff when I'm writing, but I don't do any active layout on the text that I produce because I have absolutely no idea if I'm any good at wording stuff when I build these things. I just kind of I spit the ideas out there, and if I have a writing team, they help me wordsmith the thing into expressing what we want, or and then my editor cleans up the thing so it's proper grammar and structured, so I can cut and paste the entire 117 page document and just drop it into a Word file. Because I'm going to use Word to do my layouts. I just realized that how the watermark function of that program works. So I can create a watermark, a tiling watermark of the background, and then I can swap it out with specific unique backgrounds on particular pages if I want to. I used to create a text box for literally every page of a document, and then I would string those up, and then I would include an image in the text box, and that is a heavy lift. A lot of processing goes into that, but I think this time what I can do is I can make a generic faded watermark to sit in the background on the pages, like faded stars and stuff like that, but then have that I can then paint over in blotches. So I should be able to melt. Like if I just do a really cool astral background scene and have it faded, that should be enough texture and static in the background that it won't be any problem. I'm already starting to think about the page dressing on how I want things to actually like the margins, like the margin artwork. I've started sussing out how I want to do that stuff. And then we'll need to verify, make sure the table of content lines up. with all the sections that we have inside of the finalized document. I think I'm just gonna traipse around for a couple hours on Saturday just to start slamming some ink onto pages for us to take a look at how things sit and not get too borne down into the specifics, but just to start setting stuff up and having a conversation about what it is exactly that we're doing there. That should be able to get us, in the mood for looking at what we're doing. So maybe I'll spend a little time looking at mechanics. I'm ridiculously excited. I'm actually kind of excited about about just diving in, and we'll play catch up on the. I mean, we're gonna have maybe a month or so of illustrating and building charts and stuff like that. I have Monday off. I just realized that. So when we jump in stream on Monday, we'll be able to work on the Eberron map for a few hours in the morning, and then we can do a couple or more hours on our lunch stream to do both the Beholder and the Ancient Red Dragon. Excuse me. For the creatures, for the creature translations, for the martial power system. That's going to be fun. Blip this guy like bloop. Something like this. I must say. God, I'm excited. I'm scared, nervous, and excited about. I always get stage fright with when it comes to layouts. Yeah, boy. Going to hear like that so we can hear like this, and bloop. There you go. Get rid of this. And leg up program. See how that goes. The good thing about building all these assets now is that I can use them inside the document when I create all of the scaling diagrams and the movement stuff. And hey, Hornetica, my dude. Yeah, it's looking nice. We're gonna do layouts this weekend, my dude. We've got our final edits for the mechanics good to go. I'm going to the first 86 pages are all hard mechanics, and then the last 30 pages are the Light of Xyraxis conversion. So I'm going to actually step away from the Light of Xyraxis conversion and focus on the front end of the book initially, just to make sure I get everything set up, and then I can come back and play, get the adventure conversion done when the product itself is done. I could choose to put out the 86-page book into maybe a 15-page document, and then do the Light of Xyraxis conversion for. I don't know, I could do like 20 and 5 and then bundle them both for 20. But what I really want to do when this is done is a separate product specifically for the even snare encounter in the asteroid field, and call it even snare death squad, and really flesh out the Theurgy, the fighter craft that they have. I mean, I've got all the stats and stuff for combat, but like they'll like really dive into who they are, their personalities, what their goals are, where they've been, who's on their hit list, what they're wanted for. Like make a proper supplement expansion specifically around that Theurgy pirate ship, just because it's something that the team could theoretically capture and start making use of. So it'd be great to have like a distinct, like have a unique interior. Maybe have a great mother in there. I love that the the Umber Hulk. God, it's so cool. There's these little fighter crypt that they've got the 8 spider legs, right? 4 of them are pincer are piercing rams, but they also have 4 other legs that they can clutch up underneath them because they're spiders, right? But they can carry large size Umber Hulk on their underbelly, so when they flit across a ship, they can drop the Umber Hulk. Like, it's a CR8 creature. That's a really, really difficult fight for a 2nd, 3rd level character. Oh wait, you start at 5th. So that'd be like, yeah, you'd be 5th level character still at that point. You're dropping CR8 Umber Hulks onto your deck, and they're not there to slaughter everyone. They're there to hypnotize your siege crews so you can't shoot back at them. So they're just sitting there disabling your crew, and like they're just giant meat shields. They're like, man, get out of here. I'm just going to stare down your ballista team so they can't shoot at my friends while we burn you up. It's fun. It's just, you're just dropping this tank that's just there to disable things. It's so great. Like, while you're, you know, and if it's not working, then they go to plan B, which is throw people off of the deck and just get rid of crew. So it's like your commander, like, you're probably going to have your ranger, your paladin, your fighter are probably going to be the guys that are commanding the siege crews at this point. And if they want to attack the ships with the siege weapon crews, then they have to get the Umber Hulks off of their ass. For them to get the Umber Hulks off of their ass, they have to spend all of their action economy killing Umber Hulks, so they can't actually fire weapons at people. Because they got weapon crews that are like trying to not be eaten and thrown off board by these massive creatures. So it's a really, really fun way to make it, to not make it combat if you don't want to. Like, ultimately all it wants to do is just stand there and stare down your crew, so they all become hypnotized and incapable of contributing to loading and firing the weapons, slowing your rate of fire, lessening the damage that the even snare takes, and then if the once the Umber Hulk is on deck, they can go to the underbelly, pinch her in so that they're locked on with the grappling with the piercing rams that can act as grappling hooks. So they lock onto the bottom of your ship, and then just start dumping oil on it and catch it on fire. So if you want to deal with them, you have to go to the underside of the deck to put out the fire. But the Umber Hulks are trying to disable your crew from being able to do that. So what are you going to do? Are you going to put out your fire? Are you going to get rid of the Umber Hulk on your deck? Or are you going to try to shoot the Elliphids that are in the sky? And I want it to be... The whole goal of it is to make you just get the hell out of there. It's like, this is just no. And run so that you can find the cops. So when the cops intercept you, you can turn around as a squadron and go back in with 3 space galleons instead of just 1 and just start tearing stuff apart. Like, however much vengeance you want to take on these guys, this is an opportunity for you to vent. And I love that, because the fighter craft that they have, whatever fighter craft survive, they can use as escape pods, because they can fly at difficult terrain between the asteroids in the map. But the vessels that the characters have and the cops have, even the Even Snare itself, are too big to navigate between the asteroids. So if the team can win, they basically get to claim the Even Snare as salvage. That they can either use, which they shouldn't, because it'll be a shoot first, ask questions later sort of situation you'll have with most people showing up in that sort of a ship. best to leave it to the cops to decommission and to get a good chunk of loot to put into fixing your boat if you need to, or to go hire a new one. So you have the rules for maintaining a lifestyle. So if you want to recruit a boat, you basically have to look at it's duration of time times size of ship times lifestyle that you want to maintain. So if you're willing to hire a ship like with a wealthy lifestyle for like, I don't know, maybe like 15,000 gold for a season, then you could go hire one of the ships and continue the adventure as written. So we could potentially offer alternate ships that you could get access to instead of being in the living ship that they offer. Depending on how much gold it is that you're offering, you could offer upgrades to better ships. Like if you get a 20,000 purse for taking down the even snare with the cops, then if you're willing to stick around for like a week for an auction, they'll give you 20,000 gold for it, which you can then use to recruit a new ship. But that also requires that your ship you're not pursuing your mission for a few weeks. But it's a great place for you to do some downtime activity on the Rock of Brawl. So it just depends on how much of urgency you put in. But I think that's starting to be massive. What's the word? Scope sprawl, as in like the scope of the adventure that's sprawling beyond its normal. It's another 20 minutes. But that would be a super fun. That'd be a really fun little separate adventure to do. Just even snare death squad to really detail out all that stuff. So we already have that as tactics in the adventure that we're providing, like the Umber Hulk landing on the deck, catching your ship on fire, all that stuff. That's really expands what you can do to the adventure. I'd say that the Omama encounter at Topola's Tower and the Eben Snare and the Imperial Citadel fight. I'd say those are the most expanded combat combat encounters that we offer using these mechanics that we've been building that are available in Light as Araxis. But there's so much stuff that we can do. It is just ridiculous the amount of stuff that we can do. I almost feel like hiring people just to flesh out the ideas that I have so I can keep working on the books that I have, and then just go in sharesies with them, do a book cover, put in some maps for them, and otherwise just let somebody write something. I don't know. It's like I'm almost at that point. I feel like I need to score some more successful medals than Electrum for me to be able to really be able to throw my weight around as a gold medal seller. That's kind of like gold standard is a term for a reason. And it applies to DMsGuild stuff as well. If you've got stuff that's going gold or greater, then you're building good stuff. If it goes gold or better quickly, it means that it's generally, like, the general population is really into what you're doing because enough people bought it to be able to hit that medal status quickly. Like my the color mana spell point variant rules, it's down in the description. You can check those out. Not a lot of people that are MTG enthusiasts playing D&D to the point where they're willing to spend money on a color mana system. But I'm like 75 sales away from gold medal on spell point warlocks of all things, as well as the actual core mechanics. So those are actually coming along really, really well. I think I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to immediately regret that decision and bring it back in. But I think I want to fade this one down like that. Yeah, like that. Now we can do do like this. I love jellyfish, you love jellyfish, 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 jellyfish. So yeah, Ebon Snare Death Squad. I wanna that is a thing I wanna do. And it's always been my intention. God, I keep building all these flagships. I build these flagships to build a conversation around smaller supplements. You know, and like this Death Squad is probably the best example I have yet of something that might actually be mainstream popular enough for if I build it, like, well, this supplement. Like I always do all this niche stuff, like this little micro interest stuff, things that I think are fascinating but don't have a lot of broad appeal. I think this is the first thing that I've actually produced myself that has broad enough appeal that it can actually sell well. It's just a shame that it's coming so late to the market. I don't know. I'm still resolving the imposter syndrome from yesterday. It's still creeping around inside of me. What do you guys saying? Through pure coincidence, I've discovered that Phil talking with fast-paced jazz music in the background works really well together. Right on, my dude. Thank you. I can only take that as the compliment I'm sure it was intended as. I sure do get my ramble on. But man, this is the first product that I've come to market with that has broad appeal and is valuable because it's fixing problems. It's fixing problems, I think, is a more successful sales strategy than inventing a cool thing that nobody is. It's just are people asking for what you're doing specifically. No one was asking for color mana spell point variant rules, although they are amazing. If you don't need them, you don't want them. So like my audience is kind of limited to Strixhaven, Theros, and particularly Ravnica fans, which there aren't enough of in D&D to really lean into an MTG RPG. Like if Wizards invested in an MTG RPG, I think it would just die on the vine. I do not think. I don't think there's enough crossover audience. I don't think they've cultivated that crossover audience. They could have. They've had literally 30 years to do it, and they haven't tried yet. It's just, what are you guys doing? Why didn't you even try? But I mean, they've burned themselves so bad at this point with both brands. Like it'd be an abomination right now. It's like, you hate Wizards of the Coast enough? Here, let's combine both of their top IPs into one product that you will not buy because you're angry. Like, what? But yeah, when 1D&D comes out, I want to look at the mechanics they have in there and potentially. I already want to change the formatting of the books I have there because of all the multicolor spell mechanics changed over the past couple years. So I want to update that to how I'm currently playing it, so it remains consistent with what I know works well. That's the great thing about running a campaign using your own supplements, is that you have ongoing feedback about how well this stuff is, how good it is, you know. So you can make changes and adjust it over time as you get evidence. So. I love that. I love that I build things I actually want to DM. I think that's a problem. Like player-facing content created by players, like who the hell is ever going to be able to use this? But if you're building things that are DMs are the ones that buy stuff, man. Those are the guys you got to talk to. Those are the people that you want to grab the interest of. So if you're going to sell something, it really ought to have content in your thing for the DM. So like the Marshall Powers book is a book of players options, but I'm kitting it out so that DMs can make use of it for their creatures. Like, you can download, use this thing. Like, well, since I have Monday off, I'll be doing both the Beholder and the Red Dragon creature conversions, which is just a great example of, why would DMs want to purchase that book? It's just dumping a bunch of literally power into the laps of characters. It's because you can limit what they have access to, but as a DM, you have access to everything. So here's how you build this stuff into monsters. Like that's literally what we're doing with the Martial Powers Project right now on our Monday streams. So like just a menu list of stuff that you can tack on to creatures, flavor them to choice. It's super fun. It's super fun to like just to customize. Like just DMs like to customize stuff, Take any creature and tack these things onto it, and now you have a whole new monster. So I think more than anything that was going to be valuable for me moving forward with that book. Like if I'm going to flesh out anything, the Magic Paradigms is something I need to spend a little bit of time on, and I can cut and paste a lot of that stuff out of the core mechanics book and just re-express it for powers and martial characters specifically, instead of just generically, like instead of explaining things through the eyes of a wizard, explain it through the eyes of a martial character. And most of that context should be good to go. So pretty low lift there in general. And then for the elemental mechanics samples, I can pull that out of the Elemental Key book, which is already built. Of course, you can check out Elemental Key in the description down below in the bundle. So all that stuff already exists that I can pluck out and update for the DMs to, like, here's how you express paradigms of power in your campaign and all the bloody blah, yada yada. But beyond that, just the toolkit on like just expanding on and focusing into the creature mod kit, I think is probably going to be the most use that DMs will have out of that book. It's like, yeah, you can have your smite. I'm going to use like 4 of them. Anyway, Super Ramble mode, yo. I think I'm just about done with this jelly. But now that our edits are done, I really kind of gotta punch up production here. Slow makes smooth, smooth makes fast. Such a great expression. So yeah, we should have this finished today. I mean, the black and white version looks great already, but I'm gonna. We need to do this real quick. Color. B-Dob. Black and white. I love how I honestly love how that looks more than the color version. I love all the black tokens, just the silhouette tokens. I think those are great. But the color is, you gotta do the color. Gotta have color. Because these are all digital stuff, But the blackened tokens, the silhouette tokens are great for laser printers. Hey, if anyone's lurking around, drop a line and say hey. Like, subscribe. We do this every day except for Sundays. This Thursday, we're going to start in on the... That's tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Thursday. Tomorrow night, we will be working on the underground laboratory map for Eberron. We are done... TM with the cemetery map, and by done I mean I'm considering putting crystals on the tops of the walls, which I haven't done yet, but I'm like maybe an hour away from being done with the puddles, the water filled sinkholes. Those are super close to done. So I'll probably dot a bunch of crystals across the top of the walls, and then go back and do the same for the other region maps that we've already completed. But I want to go underground. I want to go underground tomorrow and start working on on that map. I have no idea. That could be a stumbly bumbly experience while we get our legs with it, but I'm looking forward to it. Super looking forward to diving into that tomorrow. And layouts of the Spelljammer book layouts on Saturday. Friday we'll look at that shit. I am pretty happy with that. TH. So let's fade this a bit. Like that-ish. Something like this. God, I can't believe it's always a shocker to me when a project moves forward. I'm in such a state with them for a long time, and then they transition into a new state, and it's like there's so much stage fright. It's just that's why I have so much imposter syndrome going on this week, because the page layouts is stage fright. It's legitimately intimidating to start this. I've never done. I've done layouts on stream before, just never from scratch like that. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I'm nervous because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that it won't be successful. Just like all of us are. I fear failure. So I put a good 6 months on just Spelljammer mechanics, on top of the year that we spent developing the command mechanics beyond that the Spelljammer curves into. And as amazing as they are, and as much as anyone that touches them in a playtest or whatever, like, just loves what it is, I'm always concerned that it's just not going to work out. Anyway, my struggle. But considering the broader audience appeal, I can potentially do like a lot better with this than I had with the color mana spell point variant rules. As much as I freaking love color mana, just isn't as popular as Spelljammer. There we go. I think that feels good. Feels right. Something like that. I don't know if this is perfect, whatever. Yeah. It's off a little bit. Let's do... Hey, Timely Timer, thank you. Transform, skew. Skew. Yeah, that feels better. All right, I think I'm happy with that. So I can get rid of that mesh now. That's cool. Right, lighting. I want to do some shading on the tentacles. Oh, yeah. No, that'll do. Wham, wham. Fully acknowledging there's some slop going on up here, so I'm probably gonna have to do a cleanup layer when we get there. We got another 40 minutes. We almost an hour. That's great. I might need it. Woof. Zoom in too close and it starts to get ugly. Doo-doo. Do I really need to remember myself that much? Probably not. I mean, this is only like a 500 pixel piece. Image size equals, yeah, it's a 500 pixel jellyfish. I probably don't need to be breaking my balls this much over this thing. So I just want to do it right, you know. Which is the death cry of all artists everywhere. Just want to do it right. It's like, back the hell up, dude. Hey, how are you? I hope you are doing well. I am doing well. Thanks, G. We are making Spelljammer ship tokens for Dungeons and Dragons. Bloop. Today is the aesthetic jellyfish. It's a sentient living ship that war fairies fly around in to find who's the biggest, baddest guy for them to basically kill. That's what these death fairies do, man. They find the biggest, baddest thing in space and then they try to take it out, prove that they're better. Which is great if you're running from a huge threat and you run into one of these guys, it's like, help, help, I am weaker than you, destroy this, maintain your honor. Or, if they're evil and they want to take you out because you're the biggest, baddest thing around, then it kind of works against you. But, you take the good, you take the bad. You got to strategize what you got going on in your game. Use the resources that are there for you. Gabby, are you an RPG enthusiast, or did the algorithms fetch this art channel up to you? We're building D&D books right now. We're just building art assets, but we'll be doing page layouts this Saturday. So like and subscribe, hit the bell, and I do this Mondays through Saturdays. And then Mondays and Thursday evening. If I'm not in an editing meeting or in a development meeting with writers and editors, then I'm also streaming on Mondays and Thursday nights. And tomorrow night we're going to work on an Eberron map for an underground necromancy laboratory. That's the destination of an 8th level adventure that we've been designing here on stream. Oh, that was, I saw that. You were hanging out on the Spelljammer Discord. Right on. Well met. Glad to have you aboard. Yeah. Yeah, they don't like me. They don't like me posting every day that I'm streaming. Like, they just don't want me flooding the miscellaneous channel with just fill stream, because I do this every day, and I can get how it can wear down the channel a little bit. But good people, good mix, a really great mix of both 2E and 5E enthusiasts. So it's a cool crowd to be around, and it's fun to be able to produce content with them. So, well, Matt, glad you're aboard. But yeah, you can check out the 65 previous episodes here to look at the kind of the combat system that we're building, how we're approaching. Well, when we do layouts this weekend, y'all have a chance to look at the different mechanics that we've been messing around with here. I think I want to back that off a bit. Back that down a bit. Back that down a bit. Yeah, I think that feels better. And then we're going to just grab I know it's not a natural color. Thank you. When you don't see any color like me, you got to use the RGB slider, and I have to keep an eye on that little triangle down here that lets me know if a color that's an unnatural color. It's you're not gonna warning, this doesn't exist in nature. And of course, me not seeing color, I'd have no idea. So the RGB, I live and die by the RGB slider. And so when I import images from Wizard of the Coast, either D&D art or Magic the Gathering art primarily, as well as color references from photos and stuff, if I'm doing swamps and forests and stuff. But I can safely sample off of here using the eyedrop tool to see the grab stuff here. I can tell that's a blue-green sort of thing, and I know this is purple, and obviously this is red, and this is blue, and that's yellow. But yeah, I can't tell myself. So none of the work that I do is I have any idea honestly what any of it looks like. So hoping that when I die, that there is some sort of an afterlife, to have an opportunity to see all the stuff that I did without the limited tools that I have in my head, to actually be able to see what I did. That is one of my if God is real wishes. Because when I die, give me a chance to go through my gallery so I can see all the things that I built in color. And I'll be able to scoop this life and be okay with it. I mean, if I don't have the option, I just turn to dust. And I mean, I'm not going to miss the option, obviously. But if there is somebody waiting for me on the other side, I hope they give me some color vision. Just to be able to look back at, like to learn how to do environments. I did over 100 Bob Ross paintings, and so I learned a lot of my brush techniques about like foliage, grass, obviously mountains and happy clouds and stuff. But I learned how to build his tools and use his techniques in Photoshop, which is now at the point that it's like that skill set is like so far beyond my ability to draw people and machines and stuff. It's like a super hyper focused skill set, right? Being able to create environments like Bob Ross. But if I can't figure out how to integrate structures and creatures into a similar style, it's kind of has limits. So I have to kind of start riffing off of it. Again, I talk about style a lot, and style basically is a means to cope with your own personal limitations of not being able to produce photorealistic images. And from there, it's pretty much concessions. But the style is how good aesthetically is your if that you're not good enough to create photorealism, but I can create this thing and it looks cool, and if people go, yeah, that looks cool, then that's a quote unquote viable style. But you got to get to that point, right? You got to develop enough skill to be able to recognize where your limitations are kicking in, so you're not deluding yourself that you think you're doing great work. That it's like, no, it's you are. I'm compensating for shortcomings, and mine are a little more obvious than other people's, but it's neat. It's a neat process, that's for sure. Why was I chasing misses? I'm sure I had a good reason. Plasma with the pigtails on top of its head, since you can't see color. I saw you mentioning that. Yeah. I'll go back and check it out. I will check into that. Let's see. Where am I at? I want to put this here. We'll be getting back to ship token. We only have the only 2 creatures left in the Booze Menagerie that we need to finish, and by finish, the creatures that we're selecting are creatures that are capable of traveling between worlds using the mechanics that we've developed from the combat exploration book that we built. Here, since you're a newcomer. Here's the book cover that we've been developing. I think I want to do some more highlights on these tentacles just to make them pop a little bit more, but I'm pretty happy with it. So that's our book cover. And then I'm distracting myself from my jellyfish. I recognize that, but where are my ship tokens? Hold on. Workbench. Ship tokens, there we go. The scorpion that we built. It's kind of pixel arty also, and these are all being included with the supplement that we built. So living ship, hammerhead, flying fish, super simple stuff. I still love the damselfly. I think it's my favorite that I've done so far. All these little tokens will be just included in a zip file along with all the maps and stuff that we built. So I'll get rid of this. I'll stop bragging here in a second, but save changes equals no. And then let's see if I can find Mama Hunt, tokens, topside entrance, Rakdos, Fauna, Bar, Thorpe, Cemetery, topside entrance, Citadel of Light. There we go. We'll look at the Citadel of Light and then we'll be done. Here's the Citadel that we built. And then here's the bottom with all the forest to produce oxygen. And you got these little gun stands, these trebuchet towers that defend the underbelly of it, as well as the top side. Each one of these squares is 500 feet, which is important for the battle at the end of Light as Araxis, because we need to have a 500-foot scale grid to maneuver the squadron of ships that your heroes have accumulated to take this place on. But you're trying to get to the actual Temple of Light. So we have all these different trebuchet gun spots where if you try to invade the space, they'll shoot you down. And anyway, we got all the rules about it. We got about a 30-page expansion using this stuff. That's at the end of the Spelljammer combat and mechanics that we've been doing. So it's a pretty heavy lift. And we want to have all these tokens in here because the scale that we work with is different from anything else that I've really seen. Here, and I'm going to trim this down a little bit like that. There we go. We got, what, 40 minutes left? Yeah, we got another 40 minutes before the shift ends. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning. I think I'm just about done with this guy, though. Equals 0. Yeah, it'll be on the DMsGuild. All my products are always 100% preview. There's a link down below to look at a slew of the books I've already created in the past. The Theurgy, which is ability check spellcasting, and where am I? There I am. And then, of course, the color mana spell point variant rules. All that stuff, you can read all those books 100%. But they all come with like tokens and spreadsheets and stuff like that. So you get the gist for free, and you can even implement it. Generally, my rule of thumb is if it's something I ever want to go back and visit again, or just immediately is like, I think I want to do something with this, then that's a buy. If I can't find a reason why I'd ever want to use something that I look at, I generally don't buy it. So I appreciate when authors provide more, not less. It gives a really, really good look at what you're doing, so we know it's something we want to be involved in, you know? That's good. Let's look at our. Let's see if there's any other highlighty stuff we want to toss in on here. How are we handling these little blurbles? Yeah, little blurbles indeed. Coffee time. Yerp. Let's I don't know. Let's just punch like way the hell up. Hornetico, you'll recognize this. Durzazad has been. I've been doing some weekly Discord chats with him because he is going to start using the guild and kingdom mechanics that we had developed to provide resources to his adventuring team in the Princes of the Apocalypse adventure that he's been running. They're taking over a community in the Underdark, and he wanted to have some quick, easy rules for like resource development and stuff that he could trade with other communities on the surface and in the Underdark. And so far, that conversation is going really, really well, and it looks like it's going to play out pretty well. I mean, the system is so dummy simple. Now, I mean, how can it not work? But it's really great to have somebody that has an actual use for it in their own campaign as a DM, with players that are motivated and interested in using resource mechanics for developing, a community. So it looks like, other than me absolutely having horrible wordsmithing, that the system itself is going to work out a-okay. So I'm thinking that I want to prioritize the guilds and armies because of the Dragonlance book. I want to redo all that, basically. I want Wizards of the Coast to hold my beer while I fix their adventure again. And once, I mean, we're talking at this point 2024. We'll probably have the guilds and king. We'll have, I'm hoping the early half, maybe even Q1 2024, having the guilds and the squads and armies book done with the Dragonlance conversion. Not sure how quickly that's gonna flow. I'm gonna use a light erase tool here to trim this stuff up a little bit. But so far, the conversations are going great, and it looks like that system's going to. I just basically gotta word it good so that it's easy for people to digest. But feedback so far is super solid, loose, and intuitive. So classic Phil. Hold my beer. Thanks, man. They don't have any veterans anymore. They don't have. Like Old Guard, I've talked about that before. The Old Guard is gone, missing from. There's a light there. There's a light there. Man, I am like this close to. We've got a half hour. Tell you what. I'm just gonna mince on this for a half hour, and when we're done, when we run out of time, we'll be done with this token, and then we'll do the lunar. We'll start in on the Lunar Dragon tomorrow. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. But yeah, that Dragonlance board game is just... It took us a year, but we built out a mass combat system that absolutely works, and using 5e mechanics, not some weird 4e hybrid or some third-party content system. It's just D&D out of the player's handbook with some of the variant rules that exist in the DMG already. We just stapled them all together and welded them smart, so that they work together fluidly to be able to represent millions of troops in battle. Super easy, barely an inconvenience, runs as smoothly as 5e combat, super frickin' sick smooth. And taking their like $90 board game and offering like a full conversion from that board game back into 5e mechanics for like $20, sure. That's the dream anyway. But that's a whole, God, there's like, what, I want to say there's 20 scenarios in the board game. So that is a ridiculous amount of asset production. That is even more intimidating than the Spelljammer project has been. Like, that is ridiculous lift. So we'll see. We'll see how efficiently we can actually get that thing done. But God's willing, it's going to be something that people are interested in seeing happen. So I mean, as long as I'm building an audience and folks are jumping on board and, you know, likes and subscribes and helping build the channel, it technically doesn't matter how long it takes to build things, because it's a process, man. It's a process. You got to go through the process. You got to build the things. The things take time to build. Got to respect it. You can't short circuit it anyway. So at some point I need to put a silhouette of an evil fae inside of this jellyfish, and I'm starting to think about that. But I love that. I love that old Beckme style of your characters have no meaning whatsoever. They could die easily. Let's give you a platoon of troops that you can constantly pull new characters from, so you don't break the plot narrative. But it isn't reliant on your specific character staying alive. As long as someone from your platoon isn't dead, the name of the platoon can carry on, and that is absolutely the attitude that I want for the Dragonlance conversion, where all the, like, you can have your special soft moment and your mirror of regret if you want to have that as your plot point. But I think it'd be a lot more fun to have 1,000 Solamnic Knights roll in and just trash your army. Like, that's the kind of command I want to have in my games. So, but I rant about that occasionally. But boy, I'm going to rant about that endlessly once we actually start getting into that Dragonlance content. But the reload mechanics that we have for the siege weapons, that is a really good base model to help that can be used with troop movement, the troop actions, as well as for resource management in the guilds and kingdoms. Like, that reload mechanic is just really, really useful. But I think my other favorite mechanic in this book, at least my favorite mechanic right now, is the orrery, the space orrery tracking mechanics, where if you're scanning to try to find objects in space that you can roll, when you roll your scan check, like either a wisdom or intelligence check, and using either intuition, perception, or investigation to find things that are just out there in the void, that you roll two 20-sided dice. And you look at both results. The high die is within your scanner's normal range, and then the disadvantaged die is for finding things outside of your scanner's normal. Like, the size of the object can be detected at different ranges, anywhere from anywhere from 1 mile to 100 million miles, depending on how large the object is that you're attempting to detect, or whatever is out there. Like, you can just do a passive roll. Like, DM, tell me what's out there. It's like an adventure hook invitation, or like a random encounter inviter. It's like, I want to. When you start traveling from between worlds for the day, you can do an orrery scan check to establish a baseline passive DC for any objects that are coming your way, for you to be able to notice before they get within normal orrery distance, or when they get within within the designated range. And then on top of that, you can do passives for your perception. If you have somebody that's like a lookout crow, aside from your orrery machinery, seeing what would normally be noticeable within normal vision range. Again, you can have the passive and the active checks working together, so that there's the scan machinery, like doing radar blips, that could pick up on something, and then if that fails and is a threat and it gets close enough, then your lookouts have the passive score that they're setting up to be able to potentially notice things coming in. And if all that fails, then if it's like a hostile creature, then you've got your surprise round, and then you start resolving combat if that's what it is that you got going on. But that's a really fun mechanic. I like that one a lot. And just the pacing of distancing. So I have a 2E Spelljammer Adventure in Arcane Space complete in box. I bought in the Christmas. It's only I'm only 27. Yeah, right on. I bought it at B. Dalton Books when it came out in 1991. So well met. That box set is gorgeous, by the way. I mean, all the interior artwork is black and white, but it is good looking art. And I love the cover paintings for all the box sets. It's all just such good-looking stuff. God, they literally drove themselves into bankruptcy. Well, they did that because they made way too big of a print purchase for some Birthright stuff that absolutely did not sell, and they accidentally produced like 10 times the amount they were supposed to because they made a decimal point error. And ended up completely trashing their production budget. And they sold their property, TSR sold their property to the print shop. So when TSR started running short on cash, the printer refused to print any of their books. So their landlord stopped printing their money. So they couldn't pay their landlord anymore. It was a death loop. Really, really bad. That is a strong business lesson. Momentary pause. I guess I ran out of juice in that conversation pretty quickly. Yeah, the Spelljammer box set, man, I love that. I enjoyed opening and going through the Spelljammer box set more than any other box set. Planescape was fun when that came out, but it wasn't just. It just didn't have the same level of giddiness that Spelljammer provided. Even Dark Sun box sets were. I'm a huge Dark Sun enthusiast, but nothing was just. Yeah, nothing was as cool as Spelljammer. God, Spelljammer. So cool. I am thrilled to be making space combat like something significant for people to use. Like that is a treasure, that opportunity to experience like real combat, like real space combat for D&D. It's just super cool. Even the 2E system was pretty clunky, but back in the 2E days, clunkiness was a shtick. Like they intentionally cobbled, like not intentionally, but Avalon Hill was the source of the hex crawl concept for the D&D overland movement stuff. So like the original box was like, it's D&D. We could make our own rules, but Avalon Hill made rules that are A-okay. Go check out this survival game, and you can use that for hex crawls. And you just do a monster check once a day on a roll of 1 on a 1d6. There's a creature encounter, and you can start playing D&D again. So like even at the very beginning of the BECME game era, D&D was always offloading mechanics to other game systems. It's fascinating. Like D&D has never been an all-encompassing system. It has always just relied on third-party content to make their shit work. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. 89, was it 89? Thank you. Forgive me remembering wrong. It's I started DMing back in. Well, I started playing. Sorry, let's say I started reading D&D books when I was 12 back in 87, and so that is yeah, all this cool stuff started coming out back then. But yeah, my memory's a little off. Thank you for that. There we go. Cool. Burp, 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 burp. Okay. Oh, great. Let's do. Let's drop our regent in here. Let's go just with. Let's just go with raw black. Thank you, timely timer. 20 minutes on the block. Go for it. Hell yeah. Planescape was also incredibly fascinating. Great box sets. Hollow Earth, I definitely recommend Hollow World. I recommend Hollow World as well. That was a really fun. I never got to play in a Hollow World. We tried getting my high school table. We tried getting some Hollow World going. It just never quite gelled. There was me. There was the McCracken clan, which was my friend from high school and his two brothers, and then their neighbor. So I'd go over to their place and hang out for the weekend, and we'd play D&D Friday night, all of Saturday night, and then some Sunday, and then we'd take off. But we knocked down a good 20 hours of D&D each weekend. It was insane. And we'd all be exhausted from lack of sleep, and it was fun. It was just fun. I think I want to do. Maybe something like that. No, that's too much tilt. Maybe. Let's put a gradient on this guy. Or a mask layer. Yeah, something like that. A little smaller. These things are anywhere basically from 30 to 50 feet, so I think I'm going to do like that. And that begs having an interior thing. Well, that's cheeky. It's the right idea, though. It's just not executed properly. So we got this curve here. There we go. Something like that. Just finished 3 autognome tokens. Cool. I will check them out on the Discord when I'm done streaming. This might be an unnecessary step. I don't know if it's leading anywhere productive. I was trying to create like an interior thing. So it's like semi-transparent, like that. But I don't think it's adding. I don't think that's adding any value. So I think I can just leave that like that. You're a little off center though, buddy. It's I like that positioning though. Yeah, let's leave them like that. I'm content with this. There. And let's do some more highlights here real quick on the tentacles before we're done for the day. I can feel the day collapsing on us. We got 15 minutes left, which is enough time for us to dump in some. I mean, this is only a 500 pixel space that we're looking at. So, like, realistically, it's going to be like a resolution is going to probably be something like this or less, like this to here, potentially even here. So I think we've done a good enough job with the general shape. There we go. A little bit of pepper on it. A little bit of pepper. Nice. There we go. Still like that. Oh man, HBO, the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special. That thing is a gas. I don't know how many people out there are into the Harley Quinn cartoon, but it is just a freaking great show. Some of the just the best TV period. That's animated is it's just icing on top. Bane makes me laugh so hard. Yeah, not bad. Not bad, my dudes. Not bad. I still have a little bit of time I can mince on this, so I think I'm gonna. This color, this color. Let's drop this. Let's drop it down like that. My gut's telling me that's good. Just enough is enough. There we go. Yes. Here we go. We got about 10 minutes left for today's shift. And we're back tomorrow morning. So all these ship tokens and creature tokens that we've been building, as well as all the maps for like Xeraxis, all that stuff is going to be in a zip file that's included with the Combat and Exploration supplement that we're going to post on DMsGuild. So folks can look at it either as spending some coin to get a mass combat system, or sorry, not mass combat. That's the Dragonlance. To get space combat mechanics that actually work using 5e, and on top of it, you get a ton of tokens to actually use in your game, or you're getting a ton of tokens that you can use in your game that just happens to come along with a fully functioning 5e space combat system. Any way you want to shake it out, it's definitely going to be worth your money to grab. But all my stuff is always 100% preview. I want you to be able to see what it is, and if you find value in the purchase, it's very much appreciated. I don't want people buying stuff if they don't actually value what's in the content, so I want you to be able to see the content, to recognize the value, so you know it's something that you actually want to purchase. I just think that's, when I was growing up, as I've mentioned before, at B. Dalton Books in '89, thumbing through Spelljammer, the B. Dalton staff would let me hang out and read my books because they knew I was going to buy them. They just let me hang out and read them as much as I wanted. And so I want to carry that forward for the new kids that don't have any cash in this horrible economy, to at least have some kick-ass role-playing games. And when they can afford it, they'll support me. I just think that's good. I just think that's good. It's a good way of doing life. I have a great job. My income isn't being threatened. But these things are something I can do to help develop legacy for myself. To have a long-term strategy for me to be able to exit from my day job and do artwork full-time. What a dream. So, providing stuff for people to see just makes a lot of sense to me. Flesh that out. The last few minutes that we have here. Just looking for little errors and stuff. I mean, there's errors all over the place. It's you know, I'm a sloppy shit show. But being able to flesh stuff out like that. There we go. There, we're going to call this guy done. That is a jellyfish. There's our color version. And then there is the black. Ooh, yeah, good point. That is some fun. There you go. Nice. All right, we're gonna call this one done. Done, 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 done. Dun 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 dun. Let's see. No, we don't need to lock that. Let's just kick through here real quick. We got our cosmic horror that we created. Now we have our aesthetic. Let's pull those up. Our Kindori that we created. Am I getting more mechanically complicated as I move through these? Possibly. Still like the Kindori though. Murder Comet. Murder Comet's only so-so, but I like the black and white version a lot better. It's kind of a dumb creature in general. I'm not gonna take the blame for that one. And then we get the Scavers. Brown Scaver. Gray Scaver. Night Scaver. Void Scaver. Solar Dragon. Conceal that. Space Guppy. Dig the Space Guppy. Space Guppy's pretty cool. So last thing is the Lunar Dragon and the Megapede. So when we come back tomorrow, I think we'll start in. Maybe we'll do both of them a little bit. We'll work on the silhouette for both of them some. The I don't know. Let's go fetch. We can. Let's go to Boo. Let's see what's here for us. La 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 lunar. Show me. Okay, that's pretty cool. Open image in a new tab. Well, that's going to give us a lot of bandwidth for us to do pretty much like whatever the hell we want. Not much of a token. So we're going to have us some fun. This This basically we just get to basically we just get to make a dragon token, whatever the hell we want, and then we can just use that again. We'll use this for color reference. Lots of blues here. 8 o'clock. All right, it's time for me to dismiss. We'll lock this down. We'll conceal this. And then we'll grab the Megapede real quick. And then we'll be done for the day. So. Megapede. This will be a lot of fun to do too. This one should actually be a lot easier for me to build than the Lunar Dragon. Burp. I'm pretty good with bugs. There. So when we come back tomorrow morning, in 22 hours, we'll start building a rough sketch for the black silhouette for both the Lunar Dragon as well as the Megapede, and we'll flesh them out color-wise as we can. I anticipate, let's see, we're going to do layout. We're going to start in on layouts and exploring the book text on Saturday. Tomorrow, we're going to come back. We're going to start working on this, and then tomorrow evening, we're going to work on the Eberron dungeon map that we're firing up. And then Friday we'll continue working on tokens here. Saturday we'll do book layout for a couple hours. And then I'm off on Sunday. I have Monday off, but I'll be back on stream. So on Monday morning we'll continue production on these tokens. And once those are done, we'll continue with our ship token production. We'll have Martial Power lunch on Monday. So we'll be building both a Beholder and a Red Dragon using Martial Power system, building a power kit for both of those to just basically augment them as more powerful creatures. Like, you need them to be more powerful, but some of us do. So we'll do that, and then then Monday night, maybe Monday night we'll do some more layout stuff. I'm not positive. I don't know what Monday night's going to look like, but I have the day off, so I can do a good chunk of time working on stuff. So maybe we'll finish up the tokens on Monday, and then switch over to working on the Eberron maps in the morning, and then shift gears to doing page layouts off stream. I've got edit updates for the Eberron adventure that we're working through with Andy and Stuart. I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to be streaming right now, but we'll do that in page production as well. So, man, we got a lot on our plate, dudes. But it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So we've done 75-page books before. This one's going to probably cap out probably around 130 when it's done. It's a monster of a book, but it'll make it easier for me to do Kickstarters in the future to be able to proof these things out, and of course have these streams online for people to look at to see the process, knowing that I can get the things done. I think that'll curve us well into doing independent projects in the future. But for now, if you stuck with me, consider liking and subscribing. We do this Monday through Saturday every week, unless I'm out of town. Cheers. Follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney. If you know where I'm at on Discord, just drop me a shout. And hopefully I get to see some of you cats tomorrow and over the weekend. So I will see y'all on the other side. I am out of here for the day. Y'all have a great time. Thanks a lot for being here.